So you saw Elizabeth Warren. All the president candidates are in essence fest right now, and they're pandering to um, the sisters, that gynocracy, that pseudo matriarchy I've talked about. I'll leave that link in the video description if you ain't see that yet. But in a video, well, shout out to Robert Perillo. He's often on Roland Martin. Although Robert is a Democrat, I do respect his commentary because his politics are black first, not party first. And he's pro gun and pro life, not for raising taxes, not for war. Um, I would assume he's also a supporter of school choice. I don't know, but I would assume that so. But I could respect Democrats like that. And he was talking about Elizabeth Warren pandering over there in Essence Fest with everybody else and why they choose to word these things right. Now, we know that, well, Elizabeth Warren said black women don't like to be breadwinners for their families, yet they're paid less and less likely to be able to afford health care, child care, and housing. I'm proud to share my new plan to address this ahead at Essence Fest this weekend. You saw that. But we've broke down the data, and we know that it says that 40% of the homes are female headed, but that included women who were on welfare, women who were single moms, didn't have a dude in the house. So we know that data is trash. Now, granted, it's still bad in the grand scheme of things, but it ain't 40%, and that would mean 60%. The majority are not in that position, but we don't care about that. We focus on the negative, right? But she framed that way for a reason because that's political capital for her. She got a plan for everything, and it's gonna work. But my man Robert breaks down like why you can't just leave those numbers there without giving a context to why those situations. Now he goes deeper and he breaks down like the systematic issues that women ignore or women don't care. Honestly, let's be real. We can voice and point out the reasons why we are in conditions that we're in, but a lot of these women don't care. They just want the end result. They don't care about the struggle. They don't care about the political things that happen that put them at a higher position. They don't care that, like they really say things like, "Yeah, I should have went out and did this and did that," against the fucking United States government. Like, this is a government that's conquered countries, overthrown dictators, stolen all types of land and money, but they think that 6% of the population and black men are supposed to go out there and win a race war against the government, right? No. But we know as men that even though there are some valid excuses for why we're in the condition that we're in, we can't use those excuses. At the end of the day, we still got to get up and go kill and eat to feed our families and do what we got to do. But Robert does break down a lot of the valid reasons. Now, he says that the Democratic Party, why has it become so anti-male, black male in particular? I'm like, when has it ever not been that way, right? We've done videos over here already. We talked about how Brolin called the 13% of black men who voted for Trump stupid. We saw Eric Moise Dyson say on The View the reason why those black men voted for Trump was because they were sexist, misogynist, and they subscribed to evil white patriarchy. We heard Simone Sanders tell black men to shut up, giving their unsolicited political opinions about Kamala. We saw Zelina Maxwell, let's teach men not to rape, just recently say that black men, if they did have a problem with Kamala Harris's white husband, did they need therapy? Avis goes on Roland Martin, says the same thing, that black folks need therapy. Roland continues to do that. So this thing that Democrats are becoming the anti-black male party, I disagree with Robert saying that they're becoming that. They've already been that. It's been that way. How many times did you see, again, Doug Jones, and Robert has pointed this out too, he's the one that pointed out that Doug Jones voted 70% in favor with Trump. We who understand politics know he's a Democrat in a red state, so his politics are different. He can't be like Corey or Kamala or Maxine Waters. Like, they have different rules because they can't be super liberal or they will never win in the red state. But we understand that. But black women were praised and cheered, and you saw so many people come on the Breakfast Club, and they straight up said black women did this and got Doug Jones. And what did they get for that? For one, not a damn thing. They got a a leader of their state that voted 70% in favor with Trump. That black girl magic for you. But they would not give black men any credit for him winning when black men gave 90% of their vote. Well, about 85% of their vote went to Doug Jones as well. But because black women got a 15 points higher percentage, we got to put them up. And Angela Rye and other women who went on the Breakfast Club all was like, no, but we got it. Charlamagne tried to push back. He did. I said, well, wasn't that both of us? Why are you trying to separate it? And there's a reason why they're trying to separate it and pandering and break up that black vote. And that's why I keep asking black men, like, yo, what's up with that? Like, what are y'all going to do? Y'all going to keep getting bitched out by the Democratic Party? Now, I'm not a liberal. I'm not voting for any liberals. But why don't you do what the white people do in red states when they want to be Democrat? They push for blue dog Democrats. They push for Democrats that might be socially liberal but physically conservative or whatever, right? They make their Democrats evolve around them and their views and their culture there. Why don't black men do that? Why don't black men push for candidates like Robert, right? You're not fucking Republicans, whatever. Well, why don't you vote for blue dog Democrats? Why don't you vote for Democrats that, if you socially conservative, why don't you do that? Push them into an election. Why don't you get your dollars together and support those type of candidates? So on one hand, we can be honest and say Democrats is not fucking with black men, but black men aren't mobilizing and pushing for candidates that support their needs and their views and their values and what they want. Because the general Democratic Party is not messing with you, my guys. Like, that's just not going to work. You need to branch off and branch out. If you're going to stay on that Democrat plantation, at least elect those Democrat men, and I specifically mean men, because the women definitely ain't going to do it, who support your values and your views. But anyways, that's enough talking. I'm going to play the clip of Robert breaking down the why those numbers are the way they are. But again, we know as men that it doesn't matter. We listen to all these videos online from the Blackistans, the colorists, the swirlers, and whatnot, and it's just they say broken dusty, and that's how they end the conversation. They don't give context to why situations are the way they are. So again, as a man, we don't have excuses. We have to go out there and kill and win regardless, or our families just don't eat. But it is true that there are valid reasons why there's this discrepancy between black men and black women. So you wonder why you have knee-jerk reactions from men who didn't have any hope, didn't have a structure, didn't have a system bail them out, and why they don't feel no need to participate in the community or feel need to do things that women claim they want men to do in the community. That's my rant. But yeah, Democratic Party, dog, like they play black. This is one thing too. I said I was done, but I notice how women complain about the entertainers who pander to them. They say, this person pandered to me, but he got on a boat with a bunch of white girls, and we're canceling him. I got a video about that, too, because Paris is happy that Dame Caesar's album didn't do well. We got to talk about that. Paris is happy. But they say things like, this entertainer, they pandered to us, but they dated a white girl, or they pandered to us, but they took a boat trip with a bunch of Beckys, or they pandered to us, but they didn't put us in their videos. But nobody's been pandering to you longer than the Democratic Party and not giving you shit for your pandering. They give you words of affirmations. Maybe that is it. Maybe that is the equal exchange. Maybe y'all hearing things like what Elizabeth Warren said and all the things that, you know, people feel like they have to say to black women publicly to get your vote and attention. Maybe those words of affirmations are enough for you. Maybe that's the exchange that you want. Actual tangibles don't matter when it comes to politics for a lot of sisters, apparently. Just, you know, the imagery over the implementation is enough for you, right? So maybe I just rethought that. Maybe that was it, because I was going to say that they painted to you, they don't give you shit for it, right? At least in Florida, when 18% of black women voted for voted for DeSantis over Gillum, they voted and largely because of school choice, which is something that a lot of black women support. Democrats do not support school choice. So, I don't know. I just answered my own damn question. The words of affirmation, the praising in the media, the juxtaposing black men and black women against each other, maybe that's enough for y'all to keep voting Democrat 95%. Not housing, not education, not getting rid of some of these, a lot of these rules that affect black women when they want to start their own business doing hair in their house and like that. All these different regulations. A lot of Democrats are the reason why those exist, and it's harder for y'all to do hair in your home, right? But maybe that's not it. And that's the thing too, where it's like y'all keep hearing that black women are starting all these businesses and whatnot. We know that they don't hurt anybody, and they own the average income is $70,000 a year, but in a Trump economy, y'all starting more businesses, which is cool, but the way healthcare is set up and the way taxes are set up under Democrats, that hurts you. Any independent contractor, any person who owns their own business knows for a fact that you will do better in a Republican economy or under a Republican presidency than you will under a Democrat presidency, because they're going to tax the shit out of you. They're going to have more regulations on you. They're going to probably hurt your business because they're going to force you to pay health care for your employees if you have over a certain limit. But that's enough of the rant. But yeah, I answered my own damn question. Y'all do get something in return for y'all pandering. The pandering is what y'all want, because if y'all could take that same energy towards these entertainers and say we're not supporting them no more because they pander to us and they don't date us, they don't marry us, they don't pick us. It's funny, the chicks that complain about pick me's, they really just pick me's themselves. I'm out though.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. You're listening to News and Talk 1380 WAOK, the voice of the community. Call in 404-892-2703. Get you involved in the conversation. We're going to hop directly into this because right now all the Democratic candidates for president are down at Essence Fest in New Orleans, and they are, for lack of a better word, pandering to the black female vote. The reason I say to the black female vote is because they are pandering to the black female vote, not to the black vote, but to the black female vote. Elizabeth Warren yesterday released a tweet where she said black women are more likely to be breadwinners in their families, yet they are paid less and are less likely to be able to afford health care, child care, housing. I'm proud to share my new plan to address this head on at Essence Fest this weekend. Now, Elizabeth Warren could have just said black women are paid less likely to afford child care, less likely to afford housing. I have a plan to fix it. But she specifically says they are more likely to be breadwinners. They're more likely to be head of house. And the reason they make this point and make this distinction is they are trying to separate the black female vote from the black male vote. Understand something. Consistently, black women vote for Democrats at a 95 plus percentile. 95 plus percentile. Meanwhile, black men vote for Democrats in the low to mid 80s, depending on the election. Only about 86% of black men voted for Hillary Clinton, according to exit polls. So for Democrats, their goal is not simply to get black people out to the polls, but to get black women out to the polls. And they are willing to throw black men under the bus because of this. In fact, Democrats, in large part, have become the anti-male party, and specifically anti-black male party. And what they're doing is sowing these old ideas, these old stereotypes of the lazy, sorry, cheating, listless, broke black man as red meat to this Essence Fest audience with the idea of turning us against each other. Because many women look at those numbers and they say to themselves, well, of course that is true. But what Democratic candidates are doing is leaving out the context, leaving out the things that cause those numbers to be so. You cannot simply say, well, black men aren't taking care of their families and leave out the criminal industrial complex. You cannot simply say more black women are the heads of household and not talk about programs since the 1970s that give a advantage to educational institutions to have black women there. They check two boxes as minorities. They are both a minority racially and a gender minority. Therefore, by admitting more black women to your school, you get 2 checkpoints towards your diversity goals. While admitting a black man to your school, you only get 1 checkpoint. The same thing with federal hiring programs. Do you think it was a random coincidence that so many black women work at the post office? that you go to the county clerk's office and it's all black women there, that you go to the DMV, it's all black women there? Because there are federal standards on diversity that advantage black women over black men. That is simply a historical fact. Corporate America. It is far easier for black women to get corporate America jobs than black men. Therefore, they have access to better health care. They have access to better career opportunities, higher salaries. So then you compound all these things, the advantages of the last 30 or 40 years, over a century of discrimination before that. You have the war on drugs. You have the war on crime. You have the Biden-Clinton crime bill. You have mass incarceration. You have lynchings. You have Jim Crow that put black men in a point behind black women, leading into the affirmative action era. You go back before that. You had specific policies of the United States government during Jim Crow and during slavery to separate fathers from their family, to take away family names, to break up marriages, to ensure that a black man could not have a leadership position within the family by any means necessary. It was the articulated policy of the United States government for over a century to break up the black family. So you leave all this context out. And then you start playing on these old, tired stereotypes. Aren't you black women so tired of being the breadwinners? Aren't you tired of having to take care of your families? Aren't you tired of having to raise these children alone? Do you know who will be the new daddy in your community? The government. We will send you a check. We will send you welfare. We will send you EBT. We will send you every benefit on earth to make sure that you do not need a man in your household. And a matter of fact, we will make it a detriment to your family to have a black man in your household. Because guess what? Your benefits get cut in half if you have a man in the home. There are certain programs that are available to single mothers that are not available to women to cohabitate or who are married. So it's to your economic disadvantage to have a black man around. You place this within the structure of family courts in this country, which disadvantage men when it comes to seeking parental right and even parenting time. You put this on top of the child support system that jails men if they don't have enough money. Not because they don't want to pay child support, but because they simply do not have the economic ability to do so. And many are crippled for years to come and unable to climb out of the hole that is created by this system. And then you go to Essence Fest, and Cory Booker, our black man running for president, says, well, black women have the highest levels of workforce participation. 80% of black mothers are the breadwinners in their family, but still the pay gap for black women is making only 61% on the dollar for every white male. They're making 61 cents on the dollar to every white male, but black men don't even get the jobs to make a percentage of what that white male makes. They have a plan to separate black men and black women. They don't want black men voting, because of the chance a black man might not vote the way they want them to. But they have a reason that they are uplifting and pushing these lazy, old, racist stereotypes about black men. And don't be fooled by it. We know exactly what the plan is. Only way to stop a plan is to not go along with the plan. I wonder what you have to say about this. Call in 404-892-2703. News and Talk 1380 WAOK.